Hello, welcome along to Bangkok ChitChat. And before we get started, Andrew and myself would just like to thank all the subscribers that have subscribed recently, because there's been quite a few.
And in the past.
And yeah, not forgetting them, but there's been a bit of a surge and it helps the channel tremendously. So thank you very, very much. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, then just click that button. On with the ChitChat, which is all about tattoos. And we're going to be chatting today with Luca, who is a co-founder, co-owner, whatever, of a... Now, do you call it parlors or, you know, a tattoo?
You can call it whatever you like.
What
I
do you
mean,
like to
parlor is more like kind of the old school way of calling.
Studio.
We call it tattoo studio, tattoo shop. You
Okay.
know, but studio.
And the most important thing is it's called all-day tattoo, which is strange in itself. You're open all day, I get it.
So it's not really about that. It's kind of like all day. I mean, there was the guy that kind of inspired me to start tattooing. He's also a graffiti artist and he used to write all day, all around the world. So it's just kind of, that's a tribute to him. He actually passed away a couple of years ago.
Because Joe Rogan starts off the intro of his Joe Rogan, training, podcast, all day.
And it's also, I mean,
Right, okay.
we do this all day, kind of like, we will do
This
this
is what
even
we
on
do.
our day
I
off. You know
was
what I
going
mean?
through my
So-
mind, is it all day? That means you shut early for, you know, light saving or day saving. What's it called?
Well, I don't know. We don't have it here.
The
Power
1 hour
cuts.
difference. Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, our lifestyle. I mean,
You're open from what time to what time?
We open 12 to 8 every day. You know, so
right.
actually we close 4 days a year. We don't close public holidays or anything like that. We close Christmas, so 25th, 26th, 31st, and 1st.
All right.
That's about it.
Right, we're going to talk about your backstory later on.
Sure.
But first, some general questions about tattoos. And I'm an OG, which you like, the older generation.
Like it.
So I think some of these questions, some of our viewers would be asking as well. What are you laughing at already?
Old Dodger. OT.
Well, at least you didn't laugh during my
OGs
intro.
were
So
original gangster, too.
Right. Now, according to a recent, I've done research, right? Now, according to a recent study in South Africa, I know it's South Africa, people with tattoos are more likely to be considered extroverted than their non-tattooed counterparts. So why do people want tattoos? To express themselves? Is that an ego thing, a spiritual thing, or to be different from, you know, I've probably answered your question, but
Well, I mean, that varies from customer to customer, you know. It could be just to, you know, to commemorate their trip to Thailand, or for somebody who passed away, for a family member, kid's name, or just something artistic, something just like a piece of art. It's just varies a lot, you know.
so
Does
there's
it take a certain type of person to do? I mean, I don't have any tattoos.
You've got lots of space for them.
Blank canvas.
Don't worry, your space
right?
sags now. Anyway, so does it take does it a certain type of person, or a creative person, or someone who's trying to make a statement, or, you know, what kind of person would get a tattoo?
That's a hard question, because I mean, I could answer for myself, but like everybody has their own reasons to get a tattoo, you know.
I would have thought all the years that you've done it, you would have sort of like narrowed it down to
I mean-
that's the market segment
Well, I
of
think
people that want it.
there's tradition. I mean, it goes back to you know, when we were kids. The guy that was recognised as having a tattoo was either, you were going to mention this later, but the merchant seaman. It was always more of a working class thing, yeah.
Bikers.
And also your
Gang
parents were trying to say,
members.
don't get a tattoo, you can never take it off. All these kind of things. So it's the person who's probably not a reserved person. We're traditional.
More of an extra. I would say, yes. Going back to the merchant seaman thing, I was brought up in the 50s, okay, and middle class, and if I saw someone with that tattoo, and this is horrible to say because I don't think it now, but either working low class thug, yobbo, and that was the stigma that it had until I can't put a year on it, but. More modern now.
I'll say early 90s, mid-90s.
There you go. You're right.
Well,
where
no,
it became, you
Or the
know,
late 90s, it kind of started to change.
I think the punk era was the start of people who are non-merchant seamen, that sort of thing. The punk era for the youth getting tattoos, I think, and the goth, that era of the 80s, yeah?
Yeah.
And then going into 90s, it was becoming
But
more
even then,
socially acceptable by young.
But even then,
Even then,
that's...
people were not getting tattooed unless it was like
Yeah.
an outcast. And
Yeah.
stuff. But then toward mid '90s,
Prisoner.
late '90s, you're just gonna start seeing a lot of sports
There we
sports
go.
guys,
Yeah.
celebrities getting
Yeah.
tattoos. So from there, like people are like, okay.
More middle of the road people.
You know,
not-
just people follow celebrities. They want to wear what they wear.
Yeah.
They see they have tattoos. So like, okay, I want a tattoo. So they're just trying to emulate what they see.
Then there's the
you
office
know?
environment as well. People are skating in case it showed, and did people look at them in a different way? Now you've got businessmen with tattoos.
Oh, you'll be
everything.
surprised.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the
a lot of the business people, you know, they might not get a tattoo on the forearm, but they might have a back piece, and you will never know. You know, so a lot of like high-ranking office guys, they're covered in tattoos,
Did it-
and you will never know.
Well, you look at Japan, yeah? I mean, the first thing you do to Japan, Yakuza, yeah?
Right.
And they get tattoos all over themselves. But do a lot of Japanese still get that done, but they're not Yakuza? Has it become a fashion? Or?
Japan is a little bit different because I mean, yeah, the stigma for the yakuza is still there, but like newer generations just starting to get tattoo. You know, the past maybe 10, 15 years.
Because
you
it's
know?
cool?
I mean.
Or is it a
Yes,
statement? Or is
it's-
it identity?
It's again, they follow the trend, you know, the culture, the music, and the celebrity and stuff. But I mean, Japan is very strict. You know, for example, you can't go to how do you call them, the public baths if you have a tattoo.
Oh, really? Yeah.
You can't. in
Read
Japan.
that, yeah.
So that's why a lot of Japanese, they won't get a tattoo. You know, actually, we tattooed one guy that, I mean, he travels to Japan quite a lot, and he goes to public baths. I was like, I really want a tattoo, but I don't want him to not be able to go to this public bath. So he got like a white ink tattoo. So he basically, once he heal, it looks like a scar. So he's still tattooed,
All right.
but people will never notice. It's something like, you can see, actually I have a white tattoo on my hand right
Put
here.
it to that camera there.
Hard to see. You see,
Yeah.
I mean, you will never
I
notice.
didn't-
Okay,
You know,
so it
I have it on both sides. So it looks kind of like a scar.
All right,
You
yes,
see
I
the
can
skin
see it.
looks a
Very
little bit
nice.
lighter, but you will never notice.
You could rub a pencil over it and it would come up like...
Right.
This, I mean, I just like where it's at. I mean, I'm a business person too, so I mean, I have to wear suits sometimes. That's why I never tattoo my hand or my neck. But I just wanted something here. Just
So where have you got tattoos, may I ask?
I'm pretty covered, you know. I mean,
Literally, yeah.
full arm. Here, I only got a couple. Chest, ribs, full back, my feet, and still got a lot of work in progress. So.
We were talking. It's probably a little bit crude, but you were saying
No,
something.
don't go that way. Don't.
Someone got it done in their member, yeah, and they had it in inches. So,
I've seen a few of those actually.
you've seen that? You've seen it? All right, okay. Oh,
Actually,
okay.
Well, you don't do anything like that in your
no,
studio.
we don't. But I mean, actually, a good friend of mine actually had a LV logo on his. Can I say?
Yes, you can. Yeah,
On
yeah.
his ball sack.
Oh, really?
Oh,
So
right.
I was
Oh,
like,
it's
you
so
were-
painful.
Things must be going. Jets
He just wanted to show off. It was just telling people, if you want to see an LV bag,
What-
boom, you know.
It's about to be like a canvas. You have to.
Oh, it's a painful spot to get tattooed. You know?
We were talking about someone who had a tattoo done, a girl, yeah, and it was across her tummy, yeah. It was a beautiful woman. When she got to about 50 or 60, it started sagging, and it was like an old hag. Right. So this is, we're talking outside before. Where do you get your tattoos done? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So where's the best places to
Like body position?
body positions? Yeah.
It really depends on what design it is. You know, certain design works better in certain areas, you know, and also the style of tattoo. So, for example, I mean, Sakyan tattoos, like Thai style
Again, what is
tattoos,
that?
Sakyans
Yeah.
are basically the Thai traditional tattoos.
Okay.
Buddhist, yeah.
Not particularly Buddhist, and more like spiritual tattoos.
But like where the Scots got the Celtic one, yeah? The Celtic style.
No, it's kind of like, I mean, when you see, I mean, you guys live here. You see on the houses they have those protection kind of like cloths.
All right, yeah,
You know, with
yeah.
the alarms and that kind of stuff, the
Yeah,
Hanuman and stuff.
Shadi
So
and-
for
yeah.
those, you should not tattoo them below your waist because it's very spiritual kind of symbol. So anywhere waist up.
Yeah.
So you will not put it
'Cause
on
the
your leg.
down
'Cause,
there
you know,
is-
closer to the
yeah.
feet is you know. And I mean, again, it really depends on what it is.
But I mean, would you
know?
get a foreigner? We don't use the word falang now due to the comments we had.
We are now corrected.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, politically correct foreigners. You wouldn't. Do foreigners say, I'd like a nice Buddha right on my foot?
Oh, they do ask,
And
I mean,
what do you say?
We tell them, as I was saying before, I mean, we have morals. So I mean, if it means not getting paid for that particular tattoo, we'd rather do the right thing. Because I mean, if you want to get a boot on your leg, we tell them. Because I mean, people don't know. No. So it was like, hey, Buddha is just a very spiritual image. So anywhere waist up, it's okay. And most of the time, they respect that. We tell them. You know, that we're
But if they
real with them.
insisted, you'd say, well, you have to go somewhere else.
No, I mean, we wouldn't do it, you know, because I mean, all my artists are Thai, and I mean, they will not enjoy doing that, and I mean, they probably wouldn't do it, you know. So it's just I don't want to put them in that position, and plus it's disrespectful.
Interesting statistic here is this is in America. More women than men in the US have tattoos.
Right.
Is that the same here?
I mean, we kind of ran the stats, and it's close.
Is
you
it?
know?
It also says that women are more likely to get their tattoos removed than men. That's a boyfriend thing, isn't it?
Well, I mean, that's just like bad decisions. I mean, we don't remove tattoos, but we do a lot of cover-ups. Cover-ups is basically...
Altering, right?
I mean, it's just basically you have a tattoo that you're not happy with it anymore. You just want to put another tattoo on it.
Or if you had a tattoo saying, I love Bob.
Right.
That's right. You could make it, I love... I don't know, but you'd be creative to make Bob into something
Right,
else.
Bobby.
I love...
I mean,
Pops, you could change the B into P and Pop. I don't know what.
The whole point of a cover, I mean, we do a lot of cover-ups because I mean, we do cover-ups for like ex-lovers tattoos.
Yeah,
but, like,
right.
You want to just correct it. You just want to mask it and put like a new design on it so that people will not notice there was a tattoo.
But can you remove a tattattoo?
You can. I mean, it is like special clinic. They do laser treatment. So
Is
I mean,
black
that's-
easier
Leave
to
a
remove?
scar and
yes and no. I mean, now it's just more advanced, but it's a very long process.
Is it?
I mean,
They say here.
expensive as well, yeah.
Expensive, a lot more painful than getting tattoos. So you have to go for at least 6 to 8 sessions, I will say, depending on what kind of tattoo it is. I mean, black ink break down a little bit.
Yeah, it says I got a
easier
note
than
here.
color.
Black is easier to
Much easier
to remove.
yeah.
Okay.
Especially colors, the yellow and the greens will be a lot harder to remove. So you need more.
So basically,
sessions.
don't get a tattoo unless you're sure.
Well,
Right.
Yeah,
I mean-
but he's the man of my dreams. I'm going to spend the rest of my life. Charlie.
And I mean,
Charlie.
we do advise against that. I mean, if it's the name of your kid or family member, no problem. Because you'll still have the relationship.
So you go down a little bit of the consulting, like when this is what I want. You sort of say, have you thought about it? Have you think about this? Think about it. And then are you okay? Yeah, I'm still okay. Well, then you do it, right?
I mean, most of the time, as I say, people don't really think it through. They just want to get a tattoo and they come in with an idea, and some ideas don't work. Or some ideas might not be forever. So we tell them, hey,
You mean they just haven't thought like, this is forever? It doesn't go through their mind.
They know, but at that time they're
The
just
penny
so
hasn't
excited.
dropped, right?
They just
Yeah.
want to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, you hear the stories like Hangover, where the guy goes in and he was drunk,
Right.
and but if somebody walked in drunk in your place,
I would want a tattoo. No. And also, the
drugs
guy
or
in
anything.
Hangover get a face tattoo.
Yeah.
So I mean, we don't tattoo faces, hands, or necks unless you're fully covered.
fully covered.
For what?
Fully covered.
Oh, for
I have
cover.
a lot of tattoos.
Right,
so,
right,
for
right.
example, like you get like a
thought you meant
first timer
insurance.
coming in, say I want a neck tattoo. We tell them, I mean, it's not ideal to do it because I mean it's very visible. Get a first tattoo somewhere a little bit more hidden, so a little bit more discreet. Because I mean,
What's the point of having a tattaoo if nobody sees it?
Well, that's a very,
Well, I mean,
very good question.
a tattoo is for you.
It's between you and the tattoo gods.
Actually, it really depends because some people just want to get a tattoo to show off to other people.
Yeah.
They might put it on their arm or somewhere else.
Yeah, I never understood why girls got it at the back of the top of their bum.
That was
Nobody sees it. Yeah.
You're
Well,
bringing the
some people
tone of
do.
this thing down.
And I stress, I only saw that in people walking along the beach.
I've never seen them talk so much.
But why? I don't get it. Yeah.
Well, because if they're wearing a bikini, you'll see it.
There you
So I
go.
guarantee you they're. See, I mean,
But they don't see it.
boyfriends, they'll
They
see.
don't see
Yeah,
it. That's my
boyfriends
point.
will see.
They don't see. How does a boyfriend see?
Oh dear.
I don't want to get into that, but you get the picture,
At this
right?
moment, I would just like to apologise for my partner Andrew here, but
Okay, so can I ask about the go to the studio? You got 4 floors.
Yes.
On Sukhumvit at Prompong. Yeah?
That's right. Yeah,
Right.
we were just a couple of minutes away from the
Which
beach. Yeah.
so originally we were discussing before. That's just an introduction to that. That's today. Yeah.
Right.
But originally you were saying that you worked in London with Seb, your partner.
Yeah, big shout out to Seb.
He was Seb. It was London Underground. Yeah.
Yeah, I was working corporate, different departments. So Seb was working in the engineer department. I was working in the art department. So it was like
You didn't design the.
This is when you were in your early 20s, yeah.
yeah, early mid-20s.
So you're from Italy originally,
Yes,
yeah. Whereabouts in Italy?
Turin.
Turin.
Yeah,
All right, because I know
close
somebody
to
else from
Milan,
Turin.
like an hour away from Milan.
Yeah.
But you didn't stay there that long.
I mean, I was back in the days. I had a basketball dream, and it's still my passion. I wanted to play. I mean, my goal was to play in the NBA. So I was playing semi-pro when I was quite young in Italy, and from there, my coach, because I mean, I was like 12 and playing with guys that were like 25 and 30 years old. So I mean, it was more for the experience, but I wasn't getting that much playing time. Obviously, I was a kid. So my coach had some connections in the States. It was like, okay, go to the States, get some experience, and bring your level up. And then, and you got more opportunities.
12 years old.
Yeah.
You went to the States.
No,
at 12?
I mean, that's when we started talking about it.
Right.
And then I went there when I was 14.
With the family or?
No, by myself. So I was...
On a scholarship or something like that?
It was scholarship. I mean, it was like, because I mean, you don't really get scholarship to play high school. So it was kind of like a scholarship, meaning my club sponsored me to go for an exchange student program.
All right.
But specifically to play basketball. And I mean, it was always my dream to live in the States. And I mean, as I say, if you want to play
Well, as a
basketball, that's the
14-year-old, you
place
must have
to
felt
be.
great, right?
No, I mean, I loved it. I mean, and it's just like, I mean, he helped me grow a lot faster than...
Where in the States?
I was in Houston for about 6 months, and I moved to LA, so Los Angeles. And I mean,
The dream.
it can't get better than
14
that,
years
right?
old, my goodness.
Right, and I mean, I did my high school out there, and I mean, the friends that I had back then are still close friends to me now, and I mean, the experience that I had is
So how long were you there for?
Unbelievable. About 3 years.
Wow, and you're on a trip quite difficult at 14, yeah?
Right. But I didn't really thought it that
I mean,
way.
I'm not gonna-
I was ready. Let's go.
I don't know if I don't know if I should mention this, but I will, and we can always cut it if it's a sort of a hot thing. Your family, they didn't mind you going, or you weren't from
Well, I mean-
a sort of a normal family in the sense of.
No. I mean, my dad was always backing me up. If it's like, you want to do it? Let's
Really?
do it.
Okay.
I mean, it was really. My mom being a mom was like, it's just of course she wanted me. She
Where's
was
my
worried,
baby?
'Cause it
my
sounded
baby.
early on when you
But he's
talked about
14 years old, he's going to be a pain in the ass.
I
Go!
thought you were an orphan. That's why I didn't want to go down that way. I thought, he hasn't
No,
got a
my
mummy and
dad
daddy.
supported me in whatever I did, and he knew
Wow.
that's what I wanted to do. So I was like, hey,
So
go
there's a
for
bit
it.
of
I
him
mean,
and you,
he-
right?
Do it now.
There's a bit of
it's
him and you?
Absolutely.
So you went, after you'd done that, you came back, stayed with the family, and then you went to London, yeah?
Basically, I came back to Italy because I mean, in the States you got 4 years of high school. In Italy, you got 5 years.
Right.
So when I went back, I did my last year of high school in Italy, graduated, and then I mean, I just saw Italy was small for me after being in LA and just being by myself. So I was like, I just really don't want to be here. But I mean, back then you still had the military service. It was mandatory, so I had to join the army. And while you waiting for the army to call you up, you will never get a job because, somebody hire you, you might have to just leave in 2 months. So I was okay, what's the closest place
You
that
might not
speak
come back.
English, right? So I was like, okay, let's go to London until they call me up and just, have an experience and see where it takes me, And so I was in London for a few months and then they called me up and I hated it. I had to go back. So I was in an academy, for
Like a boot camp or academy.
it was. I mean, you had to go for boot camp for 2 weeks, which I hated, and that's it. It's like 10 months, 11 months. I was stuck there, So,
Where was there?
it wasn't too far from where I live. It was close to Genova. It's about 2 hours away from Turin.
So then, once you'd finished your national service,
Yeah.
you went back to London?
I went back to London because I kind of enjoy it. I was young and I met a lot of cool people, and I had no idea what I was going to do.
So what made you go the artistic way? Was it something that, tell your
I
story.
mean, I was always into art. Even since a young age, I was painting and drawing all the time. I mean, that's what I did on my spare time. And I mean, I wanted to go to art school, but of course, my mom was like, "Oh, what are you gonna be, a painter? There's no money in it. Go to business school and so on and so on."
How are you going to bring a bread onto the table?
Right. So moms, of course, they look ahead and they just want the best for you, and I can understand it. But at
Yeah.
the same time,
But your dad was going,
at 12,
do
13,
whatever.
you don't know what you're going to do and later on in life. So it's just like, just do what you love. You know?
So moving on a bit from there, you went into the fabric industry.
You worked in the art department within London Underground.
That's right. Yeah.
Seb was working in another section of the
engineering,
and he's from UK.
He's from the UK,
British,
so I mean we're working same company. So we kind of gel, and like we end up living together, sharing a condo flat. That's what they call it in the UK. Yeah. So we're living together and always just like brainstorming. I mean, Seb is a business guy like me in a very different way, but we always wanted to do something that had no cap and just working corporate is great and all, but then the 9 to 5 did not really fit me.
Right.
The drudgery of a 9 to 5, and
I mean, it's just we wanted to do something different, something that was our. And
so this is when you started. You went into the side of making suits, yeah.
Right, because I mean that kind of, working corporate, even in the art department, I still had to wear a suit every day. And I mean, being Italian, I like to look a certain way. Italy's, capital, the fashion capital of the world,
and
right?
they can pull it off.
And close to Milan, I mean, that's where it's all about. So I mean, I could never find a suit that fit me properly the way I want it, unless you spend 5,000 pounds in Savaro, and it takes 6-8 months to get it done. So I used to travel to Thailand just for fun, for vacation and stuff. I had an ex-girlfriend who was a flight attendant, so I used to come here maybe once or twice a year, just enjoying, having fun with my friends. And I see all these tailor shops. I got a couple of suits done. I mean, terrible quality, but at least they fit me. And I mean, when I went back, people noticed. I was like, where'd you get that? And so I was told Seb, hey, we might have something here, Let's just import branded fabrics and high-end fabrics from Italy to Bangkok. And partner up with a local tailor or local factory to manufacture for us. We measure people in the UK, get a manufacturer here, and send it over.
Which the Indian tailor shops do massively. Yeah? They travel over the world.
But you're not talking online there. You're talking about customers go to Seb in England, get measured. He sends you the measurements.
Well, I mean, I was still
back.
in the UK back then.
Oh, you were still in the UK.
So then, people saw me just wearing made-to-measure suit, and I mean, back then you just go to the store and buy a suit, right? So I was okay, there's a market here because people are asking. I was okay, so let's get some fabric swatches and learn how to measure people. Let's try to take a couple of orders from friends and see where it takes us. So, I mean, customers were there. We had a lot of customers, but we couldn't deliver working remotely from London.
So you had to have somebody to manage the business at this side.
Right. So at that point, I was like, okay, if we really believe in this, let's do it. So I quit my job. Even though I enjoy my job, I really, it was a fun job. So I moved here and started from the bottom. I knew nobody.
Stop. I didn't mean that as an order. Back then, when you were getting suits done and brought over, how much were they costing? Because a long time ago, so...
I mean, it was a little more than buying a suit off the rack.
Okay.
It was about 300 pounds or so.
All right, because here there was always the signs, $100, one suit,
but I mean,
3 shirts and 2 ties.
Sure, and I mean,
okay, I just wanted to see
the
where
quality.
you were.
I mean, we didn't want to sell that.
Yeah,
print.
so
we
okay, but that's not expensive for a good fabric suit.
With what we thought was wool and all that. I mean, you know how it is here. They'll sell you whatever. So it's like, I mean, I knew there wasn't. I mean, as I say, we have morals, so I wanted to do the right thing and just sell high quality products. So that's why I moved here, to just really take it to the next level.
I'm going to move this on a little bit.
Sure,
but,
sure.
So that took you to a business. You were over here. Business grew, and then someone approached you to start.
Well, I mean, we started
producing.
We started consulting for a German company that was based in Bangkok. It was the biggest company in the world in that market at that point. So we were running their production for some time, and from there on, we kind of partner up with the founders and open up actual physical shops in Europe, which we still have right now. So we got to a point where, the business was pretty established, and we didn't really have to do much day to day. So at that point, that's when me and Seb say, okay, now it's time to do, something more creative, more fun, and just like, let's forget about making money, just do what you love.
Yeah. I totally agree with that.
Which is okay if you've got a bit of money in the bank.
No, absolutely, but that's why you got to have that
transition,
phase
yeah.
first.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, that was pretty established. I was still getting some money every month and stuff, so I was pretty comfortable.
Take a breath.
I just wanted to do what I enjoy. I mean, and not that I didn't enjoy making suits. I did in the beginning, but then it got to a point it was just pretty much
Yeah, it was a
routine.
function as opposed to creative.
Yeah, exactly. Before it was just, just starting from the bottom, starting from something I didn't know anything about, but I learned a lot.
Okay, well that's the suits. Let's get on to the tattoo. So what made you get over
tattoo?
That's when kind of like I always enjoy. I mean, I got tattooed pretty much all over. Wherever I travel, I got tattooed. Some of the best studios in the world. And when I moved to Bangkok, I wanted to get tattooed. I could never find a studio that kind of brought it all together. Either for hygiene, either for not understanding exactly what I wanted. Expertise, or most of the studios had two artists doing all the styles, so you can be great at everything. In London or in LA, you just got artists that specialize in a specific thing. And if you want a script, you go to the script guy.
Yeah.
You don't go to a guy that does everything, because you're not going to get the best. So I kind of wanted to do that here, because they didn't have it at that time, So I wanted a Western studio in Bangkok, and that's how it kind of started. I mean, actually, the idea of opening a studio was kind of later, because in the beginning I just wanted to tattoo, so just wanted to learn. So a friend of mine has a small shop in Tongwall, and so I just used to hang out there, and I had a guest artist from Tokyo that was here for like a year. So I asked him, like, can you teach me how to tattoo? And, we were close friends, so he taught me. I went through like a full-on apprenticeship, like an old school apprenticeship.
How long does that take?
About a year.
Yeah, wow. So you were cleaning the windows, sweeping the floor.
I was doing all the dirty work.
Yeah.
Whatever they needed.
You said, I keep hearing Japan. Yeah. Would you say that they're the experts in tattoos? Or
I mean, they have a long history in tattooing, and also
it's a bit like Italy with fashion. Fashion's all over the world, but Italy is certain synonymous with fashion. So Japan would be synonymous with tattoos in that way.
You can say that, yeah. I mean, that's obviously out of country,
But nowadays it's just spread from there.
Different regions. I mean, for that particular style, yes. I mean, like.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting into your shop now.
Yeah.
So, okay, there's a few questions here that I was going to talk about, but I think when you tattoo somebody, right, it doesn't go on the first skin, it goes
into the second layer. Or whatever. It doesn't really go that deep, so you're talking about...
It's deep enough to get blood.
Not necessarily. I mean, most of the time when you tattoo somebody, you don't really bleed out. Some people do, Depends
bleed
on
out.
No, not actually bleed out.
Because it says your skin is pierced 50 to 3,000 times per minute. Is that accurate?
Yes.
There's a lot of leeway there, by the way.
Right.
50 to 3,000.
There's different voltage on the machine.
And why would you go faster or slower?
It depends if you're doing a line or if you're doing shading.
You would slow the needle down a bit if it was a bit more intricate.
Right. I mean, when you do a line, you got to go a little faster. So it just does a nice clean line.
Okay.
When you do shading, got to be a little softer, a little bit slower, so you just get a nice gradient.
And the hygiene, what do you say about hygiene? Because one of the big things that you promote is the fact that you're certified.
Right.
You're very hygienic. Some places don't have licenses. They have and there's issues. Yeah?
Absolutely. I mean, hygiene is priority number one.
Anything going into is, even if you get a little cut, you put something on it, especially in the tropics, because it can get infected very easily.
Exactly.
Yeah? So people going for the cheap tattoo, and it's permanent. It's
never compromise on hygiene. I mean, hygiene is
what is a normal price? I mean, are you the lower end of the price? Are you the higher end of the price? Are you in the middle of the road, or
we're kind of on the mid to high.
Right.
And also we charge different from most studios. I mean, we charge as I say, we are a Western studio in Bangkok. So most of the studios, the high-end studios in Europe and the US, they charge according to tattooing time. So they have an hourly rate.
Makes sense.
Right.
So they have our hourly rate. So basically we start the clock when we start tattooing, we stop the clock when we finish tattooing. Most of the studios here, they charge per piece, which is not consistent, because that piece might cost 10,000 baht today, tomorrow might cost 15,000. And it's not the way to go about it.
So you'll say we estimate it's going to take us X amount of time, yeah?
We might say, okay, this piece might take 4 hours. If you end up taking 3 hours, then we charge you for 3 hours, and it's very fair.
I mean, obviously someone's, I know a friend of mine that had a snake all the way down from the top of his head all the way, and he just did it over months because he couldn't afford it.
Right.
So he went in, but that would be, in its entirety, very expensive, I would have thought, because a couple of hours, 10 times or so, I don't know how many times. I said, how's it going? He'd go, yeah, I'm down there a bit now. He said, I've got to save up some more money. I think he was going to end up right on his foot to tail.
That's a big piece.
That's a big piece.
You know,
right?
some pieces, they take several sessions.
Who was the head of the snake? Can you imagine the head of the snake going down and just
The head was
just
here.
above
No,
the buttocks?
head was here.
Right on the neck.
Yeah, and it went intertwined his body and all that. I think, is it time to do a reveal? Because a lot of these questions can go into what we're going to do at the end.
absolutely.
May I just add one thing about the hygiene? Because sorry to stress on that point.
Yeah, it's important.
It's super important. And I mean, one of the few studios that is actually has a certificate from the health department. So the health and hygiene, they came over and checked the studio, make sure we have the procedures in place. Yes.
So can you open a parlor, studio, shop without one?
Most studios don't have one.
So you can operate without one.
Well,
you can apply for one.
You should really have one because I mean, Thailand, it's a little bit.
Yeah,
you can open
agreed.
up a shop without having a company.
I'm surprised you can open a shop without a certificate, without them going through it.
Well, you should not.
Well, I'm not that
because I mean,
surprised.
everything is either single use or we have a hospital style autoclave. So I mean, everything is completely sterilized and it's clean every morning. So I mean, as I say, hygiene is priority.
All right.
Do you have to make an appointment to come along to see you?
It will be best.
Don't just walk in off the
right
street,
now,
yeah?
obviously, we're a little less busy than we were pre-COVID.
Missing
but
the tourists,
pre-COVID,
yeah.
we're like fully booked six weeks in advance. So you should really make an appointment. I mean, you can have walk-ins, and if we have a slot, we might fit you in.
So someone can just walk in and go, "This is what I want." You go, "Oh, where do you want it?" Okay, bing bang. It's going to take 2 hours.
Depends.
But can.
It can, for small stuff, and if the artist for the specific style is open on that day, it's available. Okay.
So basically, I'm just thinking of the process. We're going to go through your process and design and
Well,
things
we
like
haven't
that.
told anybody anything yet.
Right.
Giving away already.
Yes. So we're going to do it now. Yes. What we're going to do is we're having a part 2 to this show, and Luca's been very kind and generous, giving me a tattoo. My wife doesn't know about it, and there's another thing. I don't know whether to tell her first, and she says no, or do it, and it's done.
I will not.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's do it.
Yeah, did it. Anyway, she'll be watching this after it's done.
that
So
was
we're going to go to
that-
his parlour, shop, and get it done. But we've got to go through the process as a customer. What do I want? Where do I want it? And all that business.
And
Go
that's
ahead.
exactly what I was going to ask. So an average person, Joe Bod, blogs, whatever it is, blogs.
What are you on today?
I don't know.
Yeah, not what I'm on.
There's water's great.
Chang!
Here's water. It's not gin. Bloody wish it was gin. Anyway, so if somebody's going to get a tattoo, they should think about their design, what they want, where they imagine it should be, come and discuss it with you, and should they go away and come back again? Or what's the process
online?
A few different ways you can do it. You can either contact us on, through our website, Facebook, Instagram, and just give us we can have an online consultation. So tell us exactly not exactly, just give us an overview of what you're looking to get, what sort of size you want to get, send us some reference pictures of similar work that you like. Once we have a clear understanding of what you want, we can give you an estimate, and we can book you online.
I'm thinking more of the consulting part, saying, well, should you get it at all? You've got the wrong attitude.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, you can do it online, have as I say, an online consultation, or you would like to come in for a consultation. We can sit down with myself or the creative team and discuss your idea. Once everything is clear and we understand exactly
that's an
what
important
you like.
part of it,
absolutely.
So we've already gone through that little consultation. It took about 2 minutes because I had my idea of what I wanted. I'm not going to tell you. You have to wait for part 2 at the shop and we'll have the reveal. But you said, yep, that's fine. I said, great. So now these are, as a non-paying customer, questions are asked. Does it hurt if it's on the bone?
Certain areas are more painful than others.
Which are?
Obviously, pain is subjective from person to person.
Thresholds.
I mean, wherever you got bones, it tends to hurt.
Is that so?
Where they were?
Wherever you have bones. So ribs, elbows, chest, lower back, feet, knees.
Well, where I showed you was okay, right?
That's not a
big
particular
deal. You're going to love
area.
this one.
But it's also, most first timer, obviously you don't know what to expect pain wise. But most first timer, they think it's a lot more painful than it actually is. Once they get tattooed, they're like, oh, is that
There's nothing.
Well, I'm going to be on camera. He's going to be laughing his head off. So I'm not going to show
if it was that painful,
people wouldn't get it done. Yeah?
Exactly. You know
All right,
what I mean?
aftercare. With mine can be all done in one go, right? Because
Yes.
I'm not having my whole body
Yeah,
done,
it's
right?
like a less than an hour.
I wouldn't say long.
and then you put like a bandage over it
Well,
or
I mean,
something? Or?
we'll explain. We have a person, a customer service manager that will explain everything in detail, what to do, what not to do. We have aftercare products for sale at the studio. So the way it works, after you get tattooed, we get it cleaned up. We put like a tattoo balm on it over. We'll wrap it up with like a cling film.
Yeah.
So you keep that on for 2 to 3 hours, unless you're out and about for the whole day. So then you keep it until you get back home. Take it off, wash it with warm water. Don't put soap.
Wash the tattoo?
Yeah, you can take a shower, no problem. You just don't want to soak it in a bathtub, for example.
Okay.
you know?
Shower's fine.
Showers are fine. You should avoid swimming for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because, going to a swimming pool or the beach is a lot of bacteria. And also you don't want to soak it's like when you cut yourself.
Yeah,
If you
it's
get
an
a
open
scab-
wound sort of thing, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we avoid swimming or pool for about 2 weeks.
We'll have to do it after the weekend because I'm going down to the beach.
There you go. And then, I mean, we import this tattoo balm from the U.S. So most of our stuff is imported from the U.S. So the inks, needles, everything.
Okay,
is-
that's what I want. Yeah, because my son, he likes ink. It's the proper word, isn't it, for tattoos? Ink. It's not tats, it's ink now. Anyway, yeah. So anyway,
slang,
ink. Yeah, get that ink. And so he said he gets itchy a bit. He said, "Dad, whatever you do, don't scratch it."
Right.
That's what he's saying. But B, he said, ink. Ink's so important for it doesn't fade.
Oh, absolutely,
And he
yeah.
showed me a friend of his friends came round actually for lunch, and he had one done in the UK and it's fading. And he said, look at the one that he had here done with that Japanese guy, and it was like really clear. So ink is super important.
Sure. But also, I mean, getting tattooed 20, 30 years ago, the ink was very different than what it is today. So,
They used to make ink in the old days, urine and antiques.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's some weird stuff going on in ink back then. But that's why, I
Well,
mean...
urine because they thought it was a cleaning agent.
Right. I mean, also prison tattoos, they use all kind of stuff.
Hammer in the
Whatever you
nail,
can
right?
find, basically,
Yeah.
But as I said, I mean, we import the top brands from the US.
Yeah.
What about
For
colours?
inks.
I mean, is there some colours which remain longer? Because you see, some colour tattoos and it's all fading and it's all sort of melting into each other. So it just
Well, that has to
looks
do
like
with
Sometimes it can be
blotch.
blurred, can't
It has
it?
to do with many things. Obviously, I mean, the quality of ink has got to be great, but also the tattoo need to be applied correctly. The color ink is a little bit different from black ink because black ink is kind of like, it works as a barrier. So if you do a black outline and put colors in, it kind of keeps the color in.
Right.
If you don't put an outline, it kind of tend to spread a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
So we advise against doing just color tattoos without an outline.
So if I was getting a tattoo, you'd shave.
Yes.
You shave it first. Yeah.
Shave, clean it up.
Where I want it, no problem. Age group, is it ever too old to get a tattoo? No, I mean, obviously, if I wanted one here, this is going to sort of, I don't want to show my body off, but, things are going to sag with age. They are.
Right.
So the older you are, like me, having one, I have to be a little bit slightly more careful where I want it so that it would stay, No?
I mean, our age group goes literally from 18. I mean, we don't tattoo anybody under 18. So that's
right.
one thing. I mean, some studios do. We decide not to because it's not actual law. I mean, I think the law in Thailand is 16. By 16, you're going to make some questionable decision. You know what I mean? So at 18, I think
I
it's
wouldn't
the right
advise
age.
it. Yeah.
Well, we literally tattoo 18 up to, I think the oldest customer is probably 78 or 80.
Okay.
That was his first tattoo too.
Okay, so I'm not going to give away my age, but I'm not 80, but I'm not 18.
right?
No.
So do you find people who, like, say, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, a lot? What's the most common? Probably the youngest is the most common. Yeah.
I
Wow.
would say the majority, maybe 20 to 40.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, not so many 60 plus, obviously.
Is it mostly small?
Few,
Mostly
obviously.
small.
It really varies.
So what's the most popular area to get?
It depends on what style and what it is. You know what I mean?
So it's a small tattoo. I mean, you see a
Small
lot of people in
tattoos.
like around the ankle or something like
Ankle,
that.
I mean, if it's like a small screw, a lot of girls get it on the wrist. The new thing, I mean, a lot of girls get it like we call it under boob tattoo. So it's just put like a design that kind of contour your body lines. So that's another super important
That line
thing.
will disappear when they're 50.
Right. Some part will be covered, I guess. But
No,
I mean, the super important thing about tattoos, you want flow. You don't want like a sticker tattoo. You want to put something that goes against your body lines. So for example, here you will put something that kind of flows with your body lines, especially also on the arm. Depending on what it is, you don't want like something that kind of like, you follow your muscles,
Right. Okay.
So when someone comes for a consultation, some people come in and say, I haven't got a clue, I want one.
Mm-hmm.
So then you go in full gear. Well, do you want it big, small, there,
Right.
where do you, and you glean from them what you think they want, and then you come up with a design, show them a
Right.
couple or whatever. And then you've got the people that come in, this is what I want,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going, I suggest with the flow and things, it's better if you just put it over there. And I guess they're happy with listening to you. They should be.
Most of the time,
Yeah.
they do listen. They come with an idea, or sometimes they come with an exact design. I want this design. And we suggest, if the design doesn't fit the area or it could be done better, we
Yeah.
tell them. And most of the time they listen because they get a better tattoo,
Right.
And we show them our work, different artists, let's say different artists with different styles. So we show them their portfolio. Everything is online. And so, we suggest who's best for it.
Okay.
And
Does anyone ever ask for? Can you do a temporary tattoo? Like was it hyena? Not hyena, but
the
henna. Hyena.
Can you have a tattoo of a hyena? Yes.
People do. We don't do.
Yeah, because
Taking
if somebody's no, it makes sense because
it does.
if someone's nervous and they go, I'm not sure, I'll get it done, and then what I'll do is I'll come back and you just fill it in with the real thing.
if they're
yeah?
not sure, just wait. When you're ready, come.
You'll have a
You gotta be 100%.
Will you have a
ready.
picture
Yeah,
of it before, like my one? Will you show me an outline
for sure.
and put it on where I'm going to have it?
When
and
you
say-
come in, basically,
Yeah.
we'll have a few different options.
Yeah.
So you'll have maybe 3-4 different designs based on what we discuss.
Okay.
And when you come in, if you like one, okay, this is the one. We size it up. We'll print it off on a stencil. So we'll put it on. Let's say you want it on your ankle. So we'll print it off, size it up, and put it on. It looks kind of like a sticker. Peel it off, and you see just an outline.
Okay.
So it's like a transfer.
Pretty much, but that's what
Yeah,
it's
kid,
basically.
yeah.
A stencil is a blueprint for the artist.
Yes.
Because
So you
basically
just
you put it
where to
on so you
follow.
can follow the line. You won't see the shading or the color.
So it's basically painting by numbers. Yeah.
Well, it's just for
'cause
the
you've gotta
outline.
put
Because
the
you see,
colour
for
in.
example, for something like this, like a swallow, you will just get the outline of the swallow. You wouldn't get the shading.
Right.
So we will size it out. We'll put it on, and it might be okay, perfect spot, or it might be okay. We need to tilt it or move it. So wipe it off. Put a new one in.
And all languages
Oh,
you
right,
can
okay,
do, right?
okay.
All languages, all. You can do Thai, Arabic,
we
Japanese,
have a process
whatever.
in place, especially for foreign languages that we don't speak. So we have a very strict process, So
Get the wrong
if you bring
name.
us, a lettering in Arabic, we don't speak Arabic, right? So we gotta make sure that you know what it says.
Yeah.
You'll sign off. Make
Okay.
sure that's exactly what you want because
Yeah.
we don't speak the language.
Yeah.
So it's,
Okay.
and also,
there's many
the
jokes
process.
about,
The process is super important because you might any mistakes you'll catch it before we go upstairs. And you don't want to misspell tattoo. We never had a misspell tattoo,
no.
or it's super
Not that
important.
you know
Well,
of. Yeah.
you know,
No, we don't.
you know what I want, right? And that's a piece of cake, right? That's
Sure.
it. I'm gonna worry
So
about
what
it.
about so you're getting this done? Yeah?
Yes.
And obviously, in time, some of the colours will fade or whatever it is because it's just like
It will just settle. It won't really fade. It will be really bright when we first do it, and then we'll settle in. But it's also the area where you get in. It doesn't really get too much sun. So, for example, if you put it here, it will tend to kind of like fade a little bit more than other areas.
At my age, I'm not really worried about fading. I don't think. I'm not going to be around 40
and you
years.
take good care of it.
Yeah.
But there's a
How do you take good care
I've got
of
two
it?
questions. One is, I'll do the first about the tattoo. Do you ever get people who have got a condition, whether a diabetic, heart condition, and they actually have something put on their skin to say "I am"? Because some people put in medical identity baskets.
We did a few diabetic tattoos. Diabetic symbol, and a few.
Well, that's dead serious. That is.
So but it comes to the next point is. Over time, you say it dulls. It doesn't go. Yeah, depending where it is.
How old's that one?
You see, this one is probably like 15 years old, and it's still super sharp.
yeah.
Because
Wow.
Good ink.
It's good ink and a good artist. Because you need to have super nice lines, and it's very technical. So if you go too deep, or you hold the needle a different way, it can just like get super thick and blurry, and I mean the line work is super clean. I mean you gotta have a great artist to do a super sharp line. So I mean that's what I say. I mean pick the best artist, and you get the best tattoo.
Right. So regarding the maintaining it, yeah. So do you have to go back every 5 years to get it touched up?
Not really. I mean, if done properly and you take good care of it, applying the balm. I mean, as
You've
I
got
say,
to put that balm on them. You mean afterwards as well?
I mean, the balm is for the first 2 weeks while it's healing, and
Yeah.
then we have a tattoo lotion, and it's also like a specific like sun lotion, because I mean, obviously the sun will affect the tattoo to a point. But I mean, as I say, if you take good care of it and
you can wash it and all that normally. Once,
absolutely. I mean, once it's ill, it's there.
It's,
You know, it's not going
that's the point
anywhere.
with tattoos, right?
But as I say, I
it's
mean,
not going away.
You see that, I mean, 15 years old and it's still super
Yeah,
sharp.
yeah, yeah.
I see some tattoos that are 2 years old and
Can see your eyes.
Well, I
clearly.
was also speaking to some of the girls about. They were saying that a lot of people get tattoo.
those are different kind of tattoos. Those are cosmetic tattoos. So
Right, okay.
we don't do those kind of tattoos. I mean, it's still a tattoo done with different kind of machines, different kind of needles, finer needles, and you gotta, specialize in
So you're
cosmetics.
artistic tattoos as opposed to
Have you ever
eyebrow
tattooed
and-
people's
yeah,
eyelids?
cosmetics.
No.
That would be
Actually,
freaky, wouldn't
no,
it?
tattoos some faces, obviously, but
Yeah, not-
heads and
yeah,
stuff.
not
Oh, you don't do
eyebrow.
piercing and all this stuff at all.
No
That's-
piercing, no.
Well, look, I think we're running
this is
right out of time. I
fascinating,
could- Well, look, we're going to have a part 2 because Luca and Sepp have very kindly invited us to their studio. I'm going to get one done, and Andrew's going to be on the camera. And we'll edit it. It won't be like the whole 2 hours on there or how long, but and you'll see what's going on
See the
because,
whole process.
and I'm getting dead excited about it. So, first of all, thank you for that.
All right, you're welcome.
Second, I'm not going to ask if there's any more questions because he always has one. Secondly, thank you very much for spending some time with us. No, and we've seen the pictures of. If you want to know exactly where All Day Tattoo is, then we'll put the link in the description below. That camera below, so you know where it is. And they've got I have to say, your website is very impressive.
Thank you.
Sometimes you go to people's websites. Yeah, it's okay. The information's there, but he's done it really, really well. That's Seb, right?
Try to cover. I mean,
That's
Seb
Seb.
is that guy.
Yeah, there he
The
is.
look is my side, and the tech part is
and
his
he's done a
side,
good job, and you will know where it is. And he's always open to you dropping him a line, email, message, or whatever,
Anytime.
And then they'll come back with to answer your questions.
Okay,
What can I
very
say?
good.
Yeah,
Thank you
you
very
very
Thank you so much for
No,
having me,
thank
guys.
you
Well
very
done.
much for
Thank
coming.
you, Andrew.
Thoroughly enjoyed it, and don't forget. Part 2 coming up 2 or 3 weeks because I'm going to actually go to the beach next week, so I can't get it done
whenever you're
immediately.
ready.
And we'll let you know when it's coming out. And this, I say for a laugh, it's not a laugh. It's very serious.
I think it's going to be
But
absolutely
he's going to think
hysterical.
it's hysterical. But I'm dead serious because I'm along with my bro here, man.
Well, let me
we're in the
also-
same gang, bro.
Let me also add one more thing. That's
What's
gonna
that?
be the first of many tattoos. You never just have the
Whoa,
one. You
but don't
never
tell
have
my-
just the one.
And you think it's really good? I shouldn't tell my wife now. Get it done first. He said it.
Up to you, but I wouldn't. You're doing it for her, so she'll appreciate it, right?
Well, I am. That's a very good. We don't want to
Right.
give too much away,
No,
but
get it
yeah,
like a drag
right.
on your
No,
neck or
and the way it
something,
is, it's connecting her.
it's a
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
of
But
yeah.
before we go, listen, I'd like to say thank you for all the people for subscribing and all the comments that have come in
Yeah.
through the Masonic
Yeah,
video, and
yeah.
also we've had a few through the Hoa Hin video.
And we've got one
Other
out
videos
now,
coming
yeah.
up to do with mental health.
Yeah, but with all the bars in Soy 6 and Pattaya. That
Yeah,
one's
that's
out now.
out already. So
Yeah.
have a look, pass on the comments, please subscribe, and don't forget to press the notification button.
Just a quick note. When
do
we
what I
talk
do.
this guy, no, but this is funny. Yours aren't. When we talk to the thing about the mental health guy, he goes, "Yes, main problem with depression is people that get tattoos." See you later.
There you go.